Good morning, Internet fam. I am popping on to just riff, to talk out loud, to process out loud. This is one of those videos I've kind of committed to doing that a little more often instead of like journaling and then perfecting all of my thoughts into a really intricate, pretty post. I just thought, why don't I just skip all of that bullshit and just talk out loud so that you can hear my processing as it happens and hopefully, I don't know, learn from it, have food for thought that you can take home with you and reflect on, or just connect and feel like, yeah, I think and feel all of those things too. I'm not alone, you know, whatever it is, however it is it serves you. I think just, I'm gonna try to be just a little more raw and unfiltered. I was gonna say uncensored, but that's not really right. Just unfiltered, just less perfect and just real, you know? More comfy, cozy, if you will, instead of polished. Today, I woke up thinking about, ooh, a hummingbird. I woke up thinking about architects. I don't know how I got there. I don't know. I dreamt about tigers and spiders, so I don't know how I woke up thinking about architects, but like I was making my bed and I was thinking of this analogy, and so I wanted to kind of share that with you guys. I just sat down and turned on the recorder, and so here we are. Again, no idea how I don't know how I got here. I blacked out. No, I don't know how I got here. Yeah, to this architect thing again, when tigers and spiders were fresh on my mind when I woke up. Scary dreams. No, not good dreams. But anyways, I'm rambling. So here we go. Coffee. I woke up this morning thinking about architects. Now, you guys, if you follow me, you probably understand that the foundational message of all of my work is connection consciousness, because I'm sick and tired of the separation consciousness that is just perpetuated throughout all of the world's sort of major religions. I can't speak for every religion or every doctrine, but the primary, I would say, religious belief systems, especially ones that have been, you know, westernized or that are really connected to the Western world, one of their fundamental, you know, teachings, if you will, is separation consciousness. It is this idea that our humanity, our humanness, our physicalness is dirty, right? It's sinful, it's inherently ugly and bad and wrong, and there, depending on the religion or doctrine or system, there are things you have to do to earn your worthiness, or your right to be, you know, your right to exist, or your right to salvation. You know, there are religious or ritualistic protocols that you have to, you know, hoops that you have to jump through, things that you have to renounce and reject about yourself, things that you have to, I don't know, you have to accept beings into your heart, or, you know, proclaim certain beings as all powerful, almighty, whatever. You know what I mean? There's all of this stuff in order to earn your worthiness, in order to earn some sort of status in the spiritual hierarchy, right? It's all of this rejection of our humanity and of our physicality because it is separate from our divinity, right? And so my whole foundational message is connection. It's connection consciousness. It's that your spirit, your soul, whatever you want to call it, and your humanity are just two sides of the same coin that is the one energy, that is creator energy, that is love energy. Literally two sides of the same coin. And if you follow, if you're into, you know, spirituality and metaphysics as I am, then you know that everything's energy. And that doesn't mean that that doesn't exclude our physicality. I like to think of it as our physical, like our actual physical selves in this physical dimension or physical reality that we live in. It's like the calcified, most crystallized layer of energy, you know? It is the, calcified, crystallized, outpictured version of all of the energetics happening underneath, but it's still energy. Maybe it moves at a little bit of a slower pace, maybe it's a little more dense, but it's still energy. It's just energy showing up in a different form, expressing itself in a different way. And yet we are so conditioned in this time space to think of our humanity and our physical selves as less than, as limited, as just less than limited, dirty aspects of our wholeness. And so for me, for connection, you know, this living in the both and connection consciousness, it's all about it's like accepting the beautiful, specialized capacity of our physical instrument and of our humanity, of our human selves, right? If we want to live in wholeness, if we want to occupy our potential, if we really want to make a powerful impact in this time space for the human family, we have to accept our humanity. We have to accept our physicality, and we have to use it for good instead of constantly rejecting it, calling it dirty, calling it sinful. You know, this whole idea of ascension and enlightenment being this rejection of our physical selves and a return to energy. It's like, you already are energy. Your energy expressing itself in a very specific, unique way so that it can do a very specific, impactful job in this beautiful realm that is physical creation. You know what I mean? Anyways, I feel like I'm going off on a tangent because I'm lost on how this connected to the architect thing. Okay. So when I was thinking about architects this morning, let me like paint you a little picture, a little like analogy after this sip of coffee. Everybody, cheers. Coffee's so good. I had my coffee with a delicious chocolate brownie cookie this morning. It was divine. Okay, let me paint you like a little picture, a little analogy. Let's say there is a family, a multi-generational family that all wants to live in the same house. They want like a giant like mansion, let's say, with room for everybody and space for everybody to do whatever it is they do. I mean, this could be like a company or like a business or something, or just like a big family, whatever. Doesn't really matter. But it's a community of people. But maybe there's like 2 or 3 people that are really like spearheading this dream or this vision to like build something that can house and be a safe sanctuary for everyone to come together and live as a family or work as a business, as a community. Those dreamers, those visionaries, you know, they're the ones that like are really holding space for this idea that this is possible, that this could happen. They're like, no, we could build it here, we could build it there, and we could build it like this, and we could have a room for you to do this thing, and a room for this team to do this thing, and a communal space where everyone meets, and we could have this and that, and you know, they're dreaming it all up. They're really holding space for the rest of the community or team to get on board with the idea that this is possible. And so the next step would be hiring an architect, right? Hiring someone with the skill set and the resources to actually make this vision come alive. You know, to sit down and talk with every person about their needs and their desires with regard to the vision, to the dream of this communal living space or whatever, this house or this business. The architect pulls from, again, their skill set and their resources, and their work with actual building materials and building, you know, codes and, you know, is it physics? Like, you know, how archways and, rooftops can all be created, safely, so that they're sustainable and survive earthquakes. You know what I mean? Like all of the stuff that goes into actually building a physical structure. The architect is the person that understands all of that mathematics and all of the angles and all of the needs that the family or the people probably didn't anticipate or think about. He's like, well, what if we actually did this? And what if we swapped this wall and put this room here, because then it would open up and connect to right? But the point I want to get to is there's the dreamers, there's the visionaries, but they don't necessarily have the skill sets or the resources or the lived experience of building to know how to really ground the plan into action steps, how to anchor the dream, the vision of a communal space into reality. And so they hire the person that is almost the architect, is like the instrument, the bridge, the channel from the dream, the vision of this beautiful home or this business that serves a community or a family, the bridge between that and the actual structure coming to life and being built. You know what I mean? They are the instrument. That's what the architect does. You are both the dreamer, the visionary, and the architect. And what you create together, like that's your soul's vision embodied. Like that's your legacy, as a human, okay? Does that make sense? You are both and. You are connected. You have this essence within you, this dream, this vision that is a part of your soul, that is a part of your energy, that is a part of your creator essence, the one energy of source, of universe, of spirit that is creation energy alive inside of you. Therefore, you are a creator. We are all creators. We are all here creating something. The question is it serving? Is it serving? Is it serving you? Is it serving a community? Is it serving the collective at large? Is it serving this time-space reality? Is it serving what is needed here to evolve and create more connection and compassion and community and love in this time-space, right? But you're creating, whether you're doing it unconsciously or consciously, you are a creator. You cannot separate yourself from that. You cannot not create. Okay, so that dreamer, that visionary that everyone has that within them. That is soul. That is soul's vision. That is soul's essence. That is certain qualities and characteristics and values that are part of your unique energetic signature, that are the basis of all of your dreams and desires as an embodied human being. And then your humanity, not just your physical body, but your identity, your family connections, your cultural connections, your community connections, the time space you were born into, the collective consciousness at the time that you were born into. All of that is your skill set, like the architect. All of that is your resources, like the architect. All of that is your lived experience in building and creating in the physical realm. And so all of those resources, those relationships, those connections, that education, that lived experience, that wisdom, you out in the world seeing what is needed, what your humanity needs, and what your fellow humans need, the things that your fellow human family is asking for, is working towards, is wanting to evolve into, like all of that is your skill set and resourcing as the architect with the lived experience of creating in the physical world. Combine that with your inner, your heart, your spirit, your soul, the dreams and the desires that are alive inside of you that seem so big and like almost like, untangible. You get to pull those down into your instrument, into the embodied realm, where they can co-create together to create actual action steps and actual goals, so that you can start creating the dream into a reality. You know what I mean? So I think where we get hung up as spiritual seekers, or like spiritual explorers, kind of philosophers, if you will, or metaphysicians, I think one of the main areas we get hung up is we get so into the separation consciousness of energy versus physicality. And we get really hyper-focused on the idea of running our energy in the appropriate way, of getting our energy right, of getting the sort of non-physical, non-tangible stuff perfected or polished or in the right area before we can move, before we can act. And I'm all for the blending, like the both and. Like, let your system of consciousness work together. If you're sort of compartmentalizing, like, this is my energy, and this is who I am spiritually and energetically, and this is who I am in my humanity in the physical world. Like, we're separating the two things that need to come together and build relationships so that they can be one unit. The dreamer, the visionary, and the architect, and the creator, right? Or the dreamer and the architect, the visionary and the creator. That's how powerful you are, is you are both of those things in one amazing package. You're here to build something, to create something, and that doesn't mean it has to be a physical thing. It could be, building and creating can be relationships, right? It doesn't have to be like a business or I don't know, like, you know what I mean? Like, let's not get hung up there. But you are here to create. And that could be non-tangible things like relationships, like connections. But my point is, you're the dreamer, you're the visionary. You have all of that seed information within you. That is soul's vision. And you are also the expert at being embodied. You've been here before. You've done this before. You are skilled in incarnating into the world and living and seeing what is needed, what's going on. Like, really, what does it mean to be human in this time-space reality with all of the current global world issues and all of the, shit going on in this time space and all of the conditioning and all of the programming? What does humanity really need right now? What is humanity asking for? Like, let's go out and listen to the people and see what they are asking for, what is needed in these different communities and pockets that I am connected to and related to, so that I can be the change, so that I can actually create and implement new thought, new ways of showing up, new being, new ways of serving, new innovative ways of solving the world's problems, That's what you're here to do. And so you have all of these desires, all of these visions, all of these dreams that feel like they're personal, but I promise you, if you dig deeper and if you nurture them, they serve the collective. And so we have to give ourselves permission to be the dreamers, to actually nurture those thoughts that we've been conditioned to believe are like selfish, right? And to begin to unpack them and see how it is they are deeply connected to everyone around us. This is why community and connection is so important, is because your dreams and desires aren't just for you. They serve a bigger vision if you let them. And then we also have to give ourselves permission to be the architects, to be the instruments, to be the creators, right? Now, I think lots of spiritual dogma or just religious dogma out there in some of the primary religions will tell you that, your desires are sinful and dirty because they're personal and they're not God's will, or they're not God's plan, or they're not part of universe's plan. I challenge that and say your desires, they're seeds of soul's vision, and they may start out personal, but if you dig deeper and you nurture them, you will see how deeply they are connected to your human family, and how if you let them grow and blossom, you will see how deeply connected they are to your human family, and how they can serve entire communities, not just you personally, if you allow them and if you show up for it. The second thing, the primary religions and doctrines that I've seen, at least, and again, I can't speak for every religion or doctrine. I'm primarily talking about westernized ones. But what I've seen and experienced is the second thing is that they will tell you that you are not worthy of being a divine creator, being, right? That there are only certain prophets or teachers or individuals that have gone through certain ritualistic, whatever hierarchical hoops to obtain a certain level of authority in their divinity or in their creator energy, right? And so you're just like a sheep, you're just a normal common person, and it's your job to just adopt the commandments of those other people that hold that hierarchy and do what they say and conform to their vision, not your personal connection to the divine's vision, right? Your soul's vision. I want to challenge that. And I want to say, no, you're a divine creator being. And if you could just allow yourself to be the visionary and the architect, imagine how magical and how powerful and how impactful you could be. The way that you would show up in the world to create change, to be the transformation, to innovate, to collaborate with others. Even if their magic is totally different, imagine what two individuals who understood their creator energy, or maybe they're serving two different communities, but if they understood how deeply connected their soul visions were, because we're all part of the same human family, we're all part of the same spiritual ecosystem, imagine how we could collaborate to build even bigger ripples for this world, So you are the dreamer and the architect. You're the dreamer and the doer. You are the visionary and the creator. You're the dreamer and the doer, You're here to occupy. That's how you are multidimensional. That's what multidimensionality means to me. You are this essence, this amorphous quality, or a specific energetic signature that holds certain values and desires of the one energy. And and that like permeates time, space, that permeates all of your lifetimes on this planet and others. And yet each embodiment, each incarnation is a new creation of that essence in form, of that essence crystallized into a very specific instrument with very specific skill sets and resources for this time, space, reality. What are the needs right here, right now? What are the issues the planet is facing right here, right now? What are the things that your human family is going through right now? Where does it need support and service and edification and connection and upliftment and compassion and innovation? Your physicality, your embodiedness, your physical human identity is that resource. It is the one that has lived here, that has been in it, that sees it all, and it gets to partner with that essence to create something new that elevates this time space, Does that make sense? I feel like this is why these rambles are like so uncomfortable for me, is because I feel like I just went on a journey that touched 18 different points, and I don't know if any of the points connected. So this is why I've always tried to like take my journaling notes and my rambling notes, because I actually I don't record video, but I record into a what's it called, something that transcribes my voice, because I like to talk out loud, and then I journal that way too. If I don't have time to sit down and write, I just voice memo it, and then transcribe it, or edit it up later. And that's how I write a lot of my like posts and a lot of my my workbooks and stuff, my written content. But and I think I do that because in my mind, this is just a clusterfuck of words that don't actually connect and make sense. So it's really uncomfortable for me to just like get in front of the camera and turn it on and ramble. So hopefully that all connected. Hopefully that made sense, and that there was something in there that like, I don't know, spoke to you, or that was food for thought, or that gave you a little inspirational boost for the day or something, I don't even know how to recap, because I feel like I was all over the place. But anyways, I am going live in my group today to try to talk more precisely, a little more polished, if you will, about what are we talking about today? Oh, kind of about, yeah, a little bit of the both and discussion of how you are, all of you is energy. Your physicality is just a very specialized, you know, instrument of the more expansive energy that you carry. And how to not get stuck in the expansive state of perfecting the expansive energetics. Because something I found for myself when I first started like this spiritual journey was all of the focus on energy and getting our energy right and working on our energy and running energy and occupying energy and like intention and all of the internal work kind of kept me paralyzed and kept me playing small, because I was in this pattern of earning. I have to, you know, just like that earning conditioning from my religious upbringing was still in the background, even though I totally like transformed and decided that I was not religious or indoctrinated at all, that I was going to pursue my own sort of spiritual connection. All of that kind of patterning still just translated over. And so I found myself in this experience of earning my right to be a creator, to you know, occupy my divine creator sort of authority, to be the creator of my life, and giving all of my sort of energy over to my energy, my non-physical self, right? I was in this pattern of perfecting my energetics before I could actually move and act and be in the world as a human being. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that today, and how to kind of work through that pattern, and how to live in the both and, how to blend your humanity with your spirituality, how to allow your physicality to be part of the creation process. Because again, for a lot of us, that conditioning translates over and we're like, oh, I don't need to worry about my human self. I don't need to worry about my physical being. I don't even need to, you know, employ my physical being. I can do all of it in the spiritual realm, in my mind, in my internal, you know, space, and I don't even have to worry about the external, because if I just get the internal right, then the external will outpicture everything, blah, 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 blah. It's both. You're both and. That's separation consciousness right there, you know? Compartmentalizing yourself. You are this whole multi-dimensional, amazing fucking creation. You gotta employ the whole self. And so we're gonna talk about that today on my live in my group. If you wanna check it out, come join me, 1 p.m. Pacific. The link to join the group is in my bio if you want to come check it out. I'm trying to go live every Monday, so it's kind of riffing like this, but live interaction. You can, you know, type and comment to me, and I can ask or answer questions and that kind of thing. So if you like this format, but you want to participate live and get in the energy of it all, then come join the group, and I'll see you there. All of this and more is the kind of stuff we're going to be discussing, unpacking, and working through in the Embodied Priestess program. But it's not just about the content. It's not just about growing our awareness around these things and discussing these things. That's a huge part of it. Simply becoming aware of the conditioning and of the programming and of the habits and the patterns that are ruling our lives. That's a huge part of the process of personal evolution, of showing up for soul and service. But the other half of the equation is implementing all of that work. Once we become aware of the pattern, we have to consciously choose to do something different, to build a new mode of being, to build a new way of showing up, of occupying, of creating, right? And to do that, you really need community. You need a container. You need a support system. You need people to help you through that process, because it's a relational process, right? The universe is a fractal. And so as you become more of yourself through building relationship with yourself, you begin to see how connected it is to everyone else, because again, we are all one energy. We are all one giant human family, and we are all here embodied in this specific time space for a specific reason that intersects and interconnects with everybody else's soul vision and reason for being here, so that we can collectively elevate this system. So if you want to completely transform the way you understand yourself as soul, right? Understanding yourself as soul embodied, crystallized, condensed, here to impact, create impact, elevate, and change this time space, you got to really understand how to implement new habits and practices. And again, we do that in community because it's relational work. So I invite you to join me in community, in a container. It's a 9-week program. It's really affordable compared to other coaching containers out there. And we're gonna do this work. We're gonna get deep. We're gonna get real. We're gonna get raw. We're gonna get messy. We're gonna own our humanity. We're gonna build connection and relationship with our instrument, this instrument of soul, right? So that we can have the both and experience, that whole self experience of being a divine creator being, of showing up in service just by being our unique, authentic selves. Deconditioning from the patterns and the programming of this world that tell you to show up and be in a certain way, and really remembering your unique soul wisdom, because that is the service, that is the transmission, that is, that's the work of the embodied. And so I really want you to join me. I want to see you there. I want you to be a part of this program. This is my beta testing program. This is the first time I'm running it, even though I've been building and creating and doing this work for about 2 years now with clients. I've never run a one-on-one program, I've never run a group program before. So this is going to be the first iteration. So I cannot promise that it will be this price in the future. I really want committed people that are ready to stop the pattern of overconsumption, of taking the next course and taking the next course, and like mentally integrating all the things, but never actually taking the action steps in real life, in their instrument, to build and create and anchor and channel the new habits and modes of being, So I'm ready for people who are tired of the consumption and who are ready to fucking buckle down, put on their seatbelt, and really show up for themselves in new, powerful, profound ways to actually see the change, to be the change in motion, to occupy and practice responsibility, accountability to self, so that they can actually be in experience and surrender to the transformational process, in real time. It's only 9 weeks. That isn't super long, but it's enough time that if you really show up committed to surrendering, to expressing yourself, to honoring your wholeness and your humanity, magic's gonna happen. If you can show up and I meet you there halfway, I know some magical fireworks shit is gonna happen. And I'm fucking ready for it. I'm so ready for it. Again, I've been building this for about 2 years and I'm ready to see it. I'm ready to bring it into reality, to anchor it, to make it real, to see it in action, to, stop perfecting this program in my mind and energy and actually bring it into the real world with people in community, in a relational container, so that we can do it all together and support one another as we grow and expand and implement and anchor and actually create new realities for ourselves, and see how it's all interconnected to the human family and to our power and our agency as souls and bodies, as divine human beings, living in a completely new mode of being, you see? So I want you there. I want to see you there. Check it out. Go check out the website information. Come find me. Find me in the DMs, Facebook, Instagram. If you aren't following me on Instagram, come do so. I'm talking about it all the time. I bet you a lot of questions would be answered there. But I'm looking for committed people who are ready to dive in, do the work, start the new year in a whole new fucking way, showing up in a whole new way for themselves, doing and being in a whole new way for themselves. Really committing to the 9 weeks of going in, going hard, to see what can happen when we actually show up consistently in a committed way, So let's see what happens. Let's make some magic together. I want you to be there. Come find me if you have questions, and I'll see you around. Mwah.